can pray and fire can fall out of heaven. This is Mary Phillips. With 10-Minute Torah, this week we're studying through the confrontation between Eliyahu haNavi, Elijah the prophet, and the prophets of Baal and Asherah that were met with him on Mount Carmel. Eliyahu prayed a very short prayer, and fire fell out of heaven. Listen to what he says. This is found in the book of 1 Kings chapter 18, and let's read from verse 36 down through verse 39. And it came to be at the time of the bringing of the evening offering that Eliyahu the prophet came near and said, and this is his prayer, Yahweh Elohim of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Israel, let it be known today, you are Elohim in Israel, and I, your servant, have done all these matters by your word. Answer me, O Yahweh, answer me, and let this people know that you are Yahweh Elohim, and you shall turn their hearts back to you again. Then the fire of Yahweh fell and consumed the olah, the ascending offering, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and he licked up the water that was in the trench. And all the people saw and fell on their faces and said, Yahweh, he is the Elohim. Yahweh, he is the Elohim. Not a very long prayer. Looking at it at the surface, one might wonder, well, what was so significant about it? Remember, Yeshua taught us it's not in how many words you speak. Do not think that you shall be heard for your much speaking, he said. It's more important that you say what you mean and mean what you say when you go into prayer. Now, Ian Bounds wrote a number of books about praying at length for hours, and he described the majesty and the power of prayer. Wonderful writings, but it kind of gave you the idea that if you couldn't spend an hour or 4 in prayer, then you really were not doing anything. I appreciate those who know how to pray, and I've learned to learn from those who know how to pray. Getting in prayer chambers with them and listening as they pray, and they have in turn taught me to pray. It's important that we understand Yah pays attention to what we're saying. Long words and eloquence are not impressive. It is the genuine revelation of our hearts and the intent of our spirits. It's the intensity of our cry to him that seems to have the most impact. Now listen to what Eliyahu prayed. Let's go through the first half. Tomorrow we'll conclude the prayer. First of all, he cried out to Yahweh Elohim. This is significant in that it is the balance of who Yah is. He is Yud-He Vav-He, the name of mercy and compassion, the name of deliverance. But he is also Elohim, which is the name of judgment, the name of the Creator, who looks at things and decrees whether they're good or bad. And so we understand then that Yah is in balance. Oftentimes in current pulpit deliveries, what you'll find is an exception of this, in that they present Yah as only love, only mercy, and only the giver of grace. It's rare anymore in our modern day that you hear that he is also a judge. Anytime something negative is happening in society, whether it is a natural disaster, whether it is a viral infection that is ravaging the land, whether it is governmental upset, Whatever the issue is, can't be judgment. Yah wouldn't do that. He's only love. He loves us too much to judge us. Really. Eliyahu knew that the land was being judged by a 3.5-year drought. Obviously, in his estimation, Yah was judge. He was also not only recognizing him as the judge or the bringer of judgment, but also the one who could turn this thing around by an act of his grace, compassion, and mercy. And so there was a recognition of who Yah is and his reality without trying to color him to our own perspective and preference. Something to think about. Then he says, you are the Elohei, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, or Israel. He was addressing him as the covenant El. It's important for us to understand that Yah does not act arbitrarily and differently to whatever situation may come up. He is consistent in his character. He is constant in his reality and identity. He has given to us the tenets of his covenant to reveal to us exactly who he is and how he will move and respond in the earth, and especially among those who are called Am Israel. Yah is not going to whimsically alter his personality and say, well, I've changed my mind and I think I'll be nicer today than I was yesterday. He's consistent. His covenant details to us what we can expect from him, how we can anticipate his actions, what it is that he wants from us, how it is that we're to walk before him. He gives us the details to help us to understand that when judging times come, that we recognize them for what they are, but also what the remedy is, how to approach him and cry out to him and making teshuvah, to repent and to return. Now, let's understand this. Pesach or Passover is about both judgment and mercy. It is judgment on those who refuse to observe, and it is mercy on those who seclude themselves away behind the blood of the Lamb. Pesach is also a covenant meal. This is not something to invite all of your friends and neighbors over at a y'all come fellowship gathering. This is a particular meal reserved for those that are in covenant. It has covenant ramifications. Let's also understand that he is the Elohim of Israel. This is extremely important. And I want to be careful as I say this. Having recently sat on a pew in a church service, I hear the cry for, quote unquote, God. God help us. Lord help us. And I know who they're referring to, and I know who they believe that they're referring to, and I understand their heart and their approach. I'm not saying that they are not connected, but there is a level of connection that should be higher. And that is to understand he's more than a title of God and Lord. He is Yahweh Elohim of Am Israel, the covenant people. If you are born again, whether you understand the name of the Messiah is Jesus or Yeshua or Yahushua, ever how you pronounce the name, being born again means that you become a part of a covenant body called Israel. And Israel is called to keep Pesach. It is called to walk for a week and the feast of matzah, eating the unleavened bread. You are called to observe the habikurim, the presenting of the first fruits. When we get these things right, when we begin to approach him in such manner and heart, we may see some fire beginning to fall and bringing about a consuming of our offerings. More about these things tomorrow. Stay tuned, and until then, shalom.